Hey everybody, welcome back to Spitballin Cards. I'm Jeff, your host for today, along with Chris, baseball card addict, and Ty, aka Teapot.
What's up?
Fillington and Scott will be back with us next time. But for this time, we're going to talk about some players that we're targeting, that we're looking to try to pick up cards from. The season's about halfway through. We kind of got an idea of the trajectory of some of these players. And so we're going to talk about a little bit who we're looking at. Ty, why don't you start us off? Who are you targeting?
There's one guy who's been cold, although not as cold as people think when you look at his stats, and his team's doing well, and his cards are down in value, and that's J-Rod. That's kind of the guy that I'm looking at right now. It's midseason. I'm trying to think about who are guys that might turn it on, who haven't so far this year, and might be in a good situation, like come October as well. You know, just carry some momentum into the postseason. And right now it's J-Rod. So I'm going to pull up quickly some of his stats and some stuff that I was looking at earlier.
Yeah,
so
I feel like he's been bad from what I know, but you said not as bad as one would think. So
not as bad as one would think. So the Mariners are out in front in a pretty commanding lead. I've got a guy on my team who is a huge Astros fan who's calling for them to be sellers at the deadline, who just has given up all hope on the Astros this season at 38-40. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Mariners pitching is what's really carrying them this season in a big time way. Their starting pitching especially, but you know, they're out in front. Actually, let's look at.
Before you leave there, I gotta call out this this Astros fan. I mean, if you look, they've been doing really well. They're 6 games under now. Look at they're 7-3. That
was a week ago. It was a week ago, maybe before.
This guy's ready to bail on them, man.
He's just ready. This is a spoiled Astros fan. I hope he's watching. So. You know, he's gotten used to them just dominating that division for the last decade or whatever, and he's just mail it in.
I see a positive run differential. It feels like almost everyone who throws a pitch for them immediately is out for the season, like within 24 hours of that pitch.
That's true.
Kyle Tucker's finally having his breakout. People were noticing, and he fouled a ball off his legs so hard he couldn't walk for like a week. So they are a little snake bit, but all it takes is Jordan Alvarez getting hot for 2 weeks.
Right.
And that team can climb right over 500
on them just yet. But all right, back to J-Rod, Ty.
So I thought he was still hovering down in the like 220s or something. It's not great. It's not great no matter which way you look at it. I mean, I guess he's at a 244 average in June. I thought it was kind of
OPS ranking seems pretty low. What did it say? 125th in the league?
Yeah, 130th. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, he's got a lot of opportunity. Let's check his splits from last year and see, because we know that last year he was cold to start the season, really cold, and then he turned it on.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see if we can find it. Did they break it out on ESPN? I'm trying to navigate within the site we were on. I'm not sure if they do it on pre and post All-Star. If you just look by month.
By month, at least they do it.
Yeah, we can look at his month by month there, and you can kind of see.
Here you go. Yeah. So, I mean, he turned it on in July and August last year. September wasn't quite as good, but he's the guy I'm looking at. So I had some of his charts pulled up to kind of see what's been going on with his card prices. So bigger dips in his sort of commodity-based stuff, PSA 10, that's dipped down about 37% over the last 90 days. His auto is still hovering around $1,000. Here's what's really interesting. If I go to 365 days, it has actually like exactly the same price, more or less, of where it was a year ago on his base Chrome Prospect auto. But look at that big spike last summer. I mean, this thing just jumped way up, topped out. Let's see what the high sale was. Almost $2,000.
When was that? August?
That was actually in September last year, because they had that kind of playoff momentum. Everybody was super excited about them.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, even that did start in August.
And he was hitting bombs. I think he had 15 homers over that August, September.
Yeah. Run. Yeah. So definitely more upward momentum on the auto. So maybe that's the opportunity, is to try to find. I probably wouldn't be a player on a 10, but maybe on a 9, kind of take a gamble, $500. I'm surprised it's actually that high, knowing the 10's only 1,000. But that could be a card that I'm looking for sometime between now and maybe the National. Keeping my eyes peeled at Cards HQ for any cool J-Rod stuff that walks in the door.
Yeah, I do like his first Bowman Chrome Auto. It's a good image. His rookies are a mess. I think we've talked about it a lot. Like even like most of his rookie autos are these terrible like photoshopped images. His Topps Chrome is horizontal. I think it's from like the Pan Am games or something really weird. Like it's just bad. And the Topps Chrome updates a sticker. And he's got a lot of sticker autos. So I mean, like his rookie auto situation is not ideal. Yeah. But one rookie card I am interested in, Ty, if you could find some sales data on it, is that update. Yes, this beautiful. I like this card a lot. I like it when they pair like a rookie with a kind of a legendary player like this. I know some people don't like it. I've heard a lot of complaints that
I love it.
Turned the wrong way. We should be seeing J-Rod's face and the side of each row, but this is great. It's from opening day, I think. Is that right?
No, it's update.
No, I'm sorry. The image itself.
It's from the opening. Probably.
I believe that's Ichiro throwing the first pitch to J-Rod, and then they went up, and so it's kind of a cool moment. And I think this card is great. There's a little bit more of them than I would like, but this is definitely a J-Rod card that I had been looking for a little while at a reasonable price.
Yeah. So 10 hasn't sold since October. It looks like 1,600. A couple more recent sales on 9 and raw at 640 and 600. Okay. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm guessing the PSA 10 holders probably have not adjusted their buy it now prices.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. I don't know if there's anything. There is a fixed price for 10K on eBay.
So, I mean, sure.
There you go. Go for it. Yeah. Seems reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, completely. And well within the
They're range. Just baking in his 23 post All-Star game home runs into that price.
Oh yeah, they're baking in like a World Series MVP into that price too.
Yeah, an entire career.
Well, I'm glad we talked about this topic. I knew Ty would have a great name to throw out, because one of the hardest things for me in the hobby is to buy players when they're doing poorly. It just is really difficult to do, and that's the time you should be buying them. As you just showed on that chart, even though he's not down substantially, he is down a little bit. When you don't want to buy players when they're doing well or seemingly in demand, and that seems to be, even though intuitively I know it's not the right time to buy, I find myself doing that. Chris, who are you looking at?
Yeah, Jeff, FOMO is a real thing, and even people like us who think we have a decent foothold in this hobby, like we still fall victim to it, like with some regularity, with more regularity than we even want to admit. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, we don't have a Gunnar. Neither one of us has a Gunnar Henderson card. We blew it in the off season completely. And now we're just watching the stuff we had looked at sell for almost twice what we could have had it for. And it's like, we buy it now? No, we're just at this point, it's it's too late. But maybe that's the right move. Maybe it's the wrong move. I don't know. But I want all the cards, Jeff.
Right. You want all the cards, and there's no chance they could go down, right? So even though it's double now what we could have bought it for, now if we buy it next year, it'll be double what it is this year, and on into the future, right?
Yes, that's the exact logic that we try desperately to not
so they can hurt or are a pitcher and miss several years. Okay, Chris. So anybody specific that you're looking for right now?
All right. So if you followed Spitballin for a little while and you've watched Jeff and I on Blabbin' About Slabbin', you know that I have something of a reputation for cursing or jinxing players.
It's true.
And this has happened quite a bit. I'm not going to go through the list of names because I don't want to cry on camera. So I thought I can't stop this from happening.
Right.
It's just going to keep happening. So what I'm going to do is start to target players that I wouldn't mind, seeing them do poorly for a little while. So
this is kind of like a voodoo doll type situation. I don't know about this, Chris.
I think that's exactly what it is, Jeff, because at some point you just have to roll with what's happening. Now, I think it's weird because at some point the universe can't make this a win for me in any way, but it also, how could it be a loss? Well, we'll figure it out. Well, I'll tell you in 2 months exactly how it could work out poorly.
This is how curses are broken.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. That's one of the two curses will have to go. So I decided what I'm going to do is look at Phillies players, because the Phillies are great. Yeah, Phillies are doing really, really well. I know Harper's expensive, but still, I think he should be more expensive than he is, and I think he will be more expensive a year from now. But their ace, Zack Wheeler, I mentioned him briefly in a previous episode, and then we just stopped recording, I think, to save Zack Wheeler. But Scotty's not here to cut me off, so I'm going all in here. I like Zack Wheeler a lot. He is aging very well. He throws hard. His control is good. His team is great. And he has really big postseason moments. He is not afraid. of big spots, and he seems to fit really well in Philadelphia. So I think Zack Wheeler is a person that I've decided to target a little bit. And in fact, I broke my own rule, Jeff. We decided preseason after the Strider injury, no more pitchers.
Right.
But I did buy a Zack Wheeler card. So it is Monday, June 24th. So by the time we post this, he's probably already on the IL. But I picked up this Zack Wheeler card. So this is his Bowman Chrome rookie. I'm going to try to make myself. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to. There you go.
Here's his Bowman Chrome rookie in a red refractor. This is just a really cool card. Wasn't terribly expensive. It's about $100. And, the Mets logo is in kind of an entertaining spot, for the childish people inside all of us. But I just figured, why not? Let's see what happens. I don't wish any ill will on Zack Wheeler by any means. I hope he's okay. But we'll see what happens. Either he could win the World Series and maybe that card goes up a little bit. At least I get something out of it. Yeah.
Where'd you pick that card up, Chris?
eBay.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. It was worded a little bit strangely. So there wasn't a ton of bidding action on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sick of watching the Braves not be able to hit him. So may as well buy a card.
Join him, right?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm not wearing a Phillies jersey anytime soon, but I know I was looking at Wheeler's stats. He should cross 100 career wins, and I know that's not very many. And his WAR is not particularly high.
How old is he? Is he 31?
Excellent questions. Yeah, so let's look at this. He's got 31 WAR for a season, 96 wins. He is 34. He just turned 34.
Oh, a little older than I thought. All right,
a little bit older for sure.
Nolan Ryan pitched till he was 46, so I don't see why Wheeler couldn't.
But he does have 1,500 strikeouts. And I know 3,000 is like the bar that everyone likes to see, but that also has become pretty much an insurmountable hill for most active pitchers to get to. But he should have no problem getting past 2,000. He's looking, I would say he's the Cy Young front runner right now in the National League. And he's been in the top 5 quite several times. So yeah, I think he's just an interesting guy. Like his cards aren't particularly expensive. I think his Bowman Chrome autos are very, very affordable right now. And his team's going to be good for a while. So why not?
That's great. Yeah, I've taken another tact. As I was telling these guys off air, it's very difficult to not buy cards if you're a card collector. So when the cards of players you want or the cards you want of a certain player, either or, are really expensive or going up, it's nice to be able to buy some cheaper cards. So I went the other way and I've bought some cards of a player who's not only not really at the top of the market, but he's not even in the big leagues anymore. And that's, of course, my friend Keston Hiura. So I've been picking up some of these. Here's his clear.
Very
clear
cool.
out of 10. Here's another red out of 10.
If you're watching and you're not overly familiar with Jeff and Jeff's PC, to put it into perspectives, Keston Hiura is Jeff's Billy Butler.
It's true. It's true. But I do have to say, as we record this, after Ty's team, the Tigers, gave up on my friend Keston, he signed with the Angels. The other day, he had a 480-foot home run, an absolute monster bomb. He's had 5 home runs in the last 7 games. So if he can't break that Angels lineup, I don't know where he's going to play. And I don't know why they don't just bring him up and let him hit. So hopefully we'll see him in the big leagues. Maybe I can even get down to an Angels game and see him in person. But for now, it is nice to have a player that you collect who might not be the most sought after, because you can get some pretty cool rare cards. You feel like you're still adding to your collection without breaking the bank.
That's always a great feeling. To get I mean, that clear rookie of his is probably cheaper than, I don't know, 99% of Gunnar Henderson's cards right now.
You're probably. It's like a base card of Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
I've got a similar little project going on right now.
What?
Now that Jack Flaherty's Series 2. So I've sort of collected Jack Flaherty since he was a rookie, like for a while, or since I got back into the hobby. And I have a good number of Jack Flaherty cards, and then he got injured, and I was like, man, hope maybe he'll never come back and pitch again, like Mike Soroka or other guys. But he's had quite the resurgence this year, and he's kind of like sneaking into the Cy Young conversation in the AL a little bit, actually.
For your team, no less.
So I was really excited when the Tigers took a flyer on him and paid him for like 1 year, $14 million, and he's had a really good season for them. I'd like them to re-sign him, but now there's talk that they're going to float him. They're floating him out there around the trade deadline, which frustrates me but he's in Series 2. So I have yet to make a complete rainbow of any player in baseball. I've done it in basketball. And so I'm trying to go after the complete rainbow from Flagship Series 2 for Jack Flaherty. So if anybody sees the clear, or especially the platinum, the 1 of 1, please send it my way, because I'd like to get the whole rainbow of Jack Flaherty.
How big is the Series 2 rainbow right now, Ty? How many cards?
It's funny you have probably like 27 parallels or something like that.
It's
I don't know.
The whole wall behind
Yeah.
So
there's a strategy in this, right? Like, I'm going after certain ones that I want no matter what. Like, I just bought his golden mirror. I bought the team color match logo one. I bought the true photo. I've got those ones, like, no matter what, I want those. And I've picked up a couple others. I hit a few into packs. I bought into a break at Cards HQ for with the Tigers. So I've gotten some stuff that way. Generally what I do is, obviously I'm going after the more rare stuff, because you never know when you're going to see it again. But I'll let the dust settle, and then I'll pick up all those like odds and ends on ComC, and they'll be like, 79 cents, $1.50, like even for the $2.99, $1.99, that kind of stuff. So I have to let it settle down a little bit, but I think I've got like 8 or 9 of them so far. So
all right, that's cool.
It's just a fun little side project.
Well, I believe that means you're about 5% of the way there, Teapot.
Something like that.
Getting that rainbow.
Yeah. How close are the Tigers to playoff contention? Have they? I feel like they've kind of slipped a little bit, right?
Yeah, they have. The AL Central is, pretty loaded this year. Yeah. Surprisingly,
very surprisingly. Yeah, Cleveland.
So yeah, they don't really have a chance at this point. They're 36-41 as of this recording. So they're way back, 14 and a half games back on the Guardians, who have had a really, really good season. And then the Twins have been super hot lately too. So
they could probably get something good for Flaherty. I bet after Crochet, he might be the most interesting starting pitcher out there.
Yeah. It would be really bittersweet. I don't know. You got Jackson Jobe in the minors. They've got some pieces. They got Max Clark, who, like, Riley Green's been playing decent. I don't know. Maybe Torkelson can figure out his swing again in the minors and come back up and play. Who knows? It's probably a long shot, but Javi Baez is on the injury list. So, that's great. We don't have to worry about him not.
Yeah, that's a win. I mean,
no, that's a win. So I don't know. I've had fun following the Tigers this season. But they're kind of falling apart right now. They're not doing too great. And Scooble's even gotten roughed up this last few outings. So
yeah, I was surprised the Braves put up 5 on him. So was my dad, who called me and had some very let's say 4-letter words to share with his day. He did not enjoy that start at all.
Yeah.
That brings up pitchers, Ty. You were collecting some Scooble, weren't you? Trying to get a collection of his going?
I really like collecting pitchers. I'm actually kind of thankful that pitchers aren't expensive in the hobby, because it just makes it fun to collect them. And, some of them do okay. Like Scooble's young, youngish, but like he's not a established pitcher. But I've got like refractor runs from year over year of like Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux. And, like, it's fun to go after those cards. Pitching's what got me into baseball. It's still my favorite aspect of the game. I know that's not as popular, but I just, like, when you're talking about Zack Wheeler, like, I'm like, yeah, like a 5-pitch pitcher, who just mixes it up. Like he's got every type of pitch. When I played like MLB, what was it? MLB 2K, was that what it was? Like back 2004, like one of the greatest video game soundtracks ever. Like pitching was what was really fun to me. Like just, getting to pick your pitch arsenal and like going inside, outside, coming in. I've been watching like Pitching Ninja's like my favorite thing to watch. Tyler Glasnow is coming in, on lefties, like with a 2-seamer now, like up and in, and it's just like impossible to hit like that. The art of pitching is fascinating to me. I like pitching. I like collecting pitchers. So I've got Scooble, I've got Flaherty, I've got a bunch of other, good pitchers. I've been actually picking up a bunch of Zack Wheeler Stadium Club cards. So rainbow foils and image variations and stuff like that. So I like collecting pitchers a lot. I think that's probably like the
so I'm the only one on this panel who has not purchased a Zack Wheeler card recently. I guess I better hit eBay after this and see what I can find.
Yeah. Maybe you're dodging a giant bullet, Jeff. We don't know for sure yet. But
could be. Speaking of pitchers, though, we did buy a couple Garrett Cole cards this offseason. Now he's back. So what's going to happen? Maybe he'll be well rested and lead the Yankees to postseason glory, and his cards will go to the moon.
Yeah, it's a potential like best case scenario for the Yankees because they have a really good record without their best pitcher. Like their other arms really stepped up. So maybe he just needed that rest, and in September and October he could be firing bullets. We're gonna have to wait and see. But a healthy Garrett Cole on the mound in October is probably the most important thing for that Yankee team.
Yeah,
that and finding someone else to hit. But having a healthy Garrett Cole is that's a huge thing for them.
Although, didn't he get like completely shelled his like last 2 playoff outings? Am I misremembering that? I thought last year he did. Last year he did for sure. He got like pounded, like gave up like 8 runs or something.
Against who? Who'd they play in the playoffs last year? We need a resident Yankee fan for this.
I gotta I'll pull it up. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank because it's late. And
wait, I don't think they made the playoffs last year.
Last year they did, didn't they? Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. They got swept by Houston in the ALCS. Maybe he got lit up then.
No. Why does
our Yankee fan watchers are cursing us for not knowing?
You're right. It was 2 years ago. Postseason pitching. Oh, that was 3 years ago that I'm remembering. He had 1 outing. Yeah, 13.5 ERA. It feels like just yesterday that he sucked.
1 outing 3 years ago, and Ty's going with it.
Ty is beating him hard. I mean, he was pretty great with the Astros in 2019.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, they're definitely going to comment on this because that was really. I mean, other than that, is actually his playoff record's pretty impeccable since 2018. Yeah. So
yeah, it's pretty. Listen, we all misremember things. Okay,
yeah.
We don't always remember things the way that they actually happened. But yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to buy into pitchers a lot. I know I like to watch them. Like I love watching Strider, and I there is a certain Max Fried card I'm gonna try to get at some point. But like to quote unquote invest in them is just such a dangerous game because shoulders and elbows.
Oh yeah,
they're not meant to do what these guys are doing. As strong and as fit as they are, they're still just not meant to do it.
Yeah,
and I do wonder if like Verlander is going to be the last guy we see that hits some of these huge numbers. Like Scherzer as well. I shouldn't forget about Scherzer.
Yeah, Verlander. But that generation that kind of closes with Kershaw. I know he's a little bit younger, but that triumvirate of pitchers, including Zack Greinke, Scotty's favorite, not going to be a lot of those numbers.
No, it's not going to be. I don't know who the potential next 3,000 strikeout. He thought Strider had a good shot at it, but now, I mean, we'll have to see how long he can physically go.
I was misremembering Cole and mixing him up last year with Kershaw.
With Kershaw, he did.
Kershaw was the one. He had like 1 out
resume.
Yeah, he gave up 6 runs in the first inning, but he was also pitching with like an injured back and an injured shoulder. Like he was just trying to gut it out for the team, which is why he's such a bulldog and why we should all love him. Yeah. Even if we don't like the Dodgers, Kershaw's the man.
Kershaw's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's easier to collect pitchers when you go back a little bit. Like the Maddoxes. I know Teapot's got a big John Smoltz PC that he's working on. But guys like Maddox, Smoltz, I mean, I guess if you're like a certain type of fan, Clemens, guys that have already established themselves, like I still think Verlander and Kershaw seem really undervalued to me, some of the stuff I see sell. Because those are immediate first ballot Hall of Famers.
I've been trying to find it doesn't have to be a rookie or anything, but I've been trying to keep my eye out for some cool Johan Santanas.
Oh,
just kind of going back to some of those guys. Francisco Liriano.
We get back to the discussion of peaks. I mean, Johan Santana was very top of his game.
Yeah. And we talk about do awards matter, for Hall of Fame, or does awards voting matter? And a lot of times we're like, oh, whatever. But Santana getting absolutely robbed of that Cy Young. Yeah, I don't remember. 01 maybe. Bartolo Colon won it because he won 21 games.
21 games, yeah.
Santana was 16-14, but his ERA was half what Colon's was, and
he had half the WAR. Yeah,
it was an outrageous miscarriage of justice. But if Santana won that one, I think he would have had 3 and 4 years.
Yep.
And we might be looking at his peak as sort of almost Koufaxian.
Yeah,
Koufaxian.
But that
DeGrom-ish.
DeGromian. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I hope that we've given you some things to think about in terms of targets, whether or not you're going to go after the players who are seemingly as hot as anyone in baseball, like a Judge or Gunnar Henderson, Harper. FOMO is real, as Chris said, so it's tough. And maybe you can still find pockets of value in those guys. And if you really are long-term believers, then maybe they're worth going after. But there's other paths to go. So let us know in the comments who you are looking to target for the second half of the season. and anybody that we should avoid, or if you have any suggestions for Chris to add to his curse.
My voodoo doll collection.
Yes, his curse catalog. Please put that in the comments. But
I'm happy to help out if I can, guys.
Yeah, well, we'll see. By the time you watch this, let us know in the comments if Wheeler is still has 2 legs and is walking. All right, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.